Today I am going to talk about visible light and invisible light. Let's go start that topic. The color of light depends on its wavelength. Your eyes detect electromagnetic waves which are roughly the size of a virus. That is a specific range of electromagnetic waves is called visible range of electromagnetic waves and also called visible light spectrum. Your eyes and brain together translate light into color. Each individual wavelength within the spectrum of visible light wavelengths is a representative of a particular color. The color that you see is caused by the wavelength getting reflected from the object that you are seeing. Because each color is a different wavelength. Wavelength varies with color. It is a different for every color. Light of different wavelengths produces different perception of color. Longest wavelengths produce the perception of red while the shortest ones of produce the perception of violet. So longer wavelengths are reddish and shortest wavelength are bluish. On the one end of the visible light spectrum is a red with longest wavelength. On the other end of the visible light spectrum, blue or violet has shortest wavelengths. We see lights of different wavelengths as having different colors. When light of that particular wavelength strikes the retina of our eye, we perceive that specific color sensation. Visible light is made up of all the colors of rainbow that shows the color in a spectrum or in a continuous spectrum. What is a continuous spectrum? Continuous spectrum contains every wavelength between the wavelength on which the spectrum starts and the wavelength on which the spectrum ends. A rainbow is the example of a continuous spectrum. Between red and violet, there is a continuous range or continuous spectrum of wavelengths. White light forms a continuous spectrum of maximum wavelength 780 nanometer corresponding to red and minimum wavelength 380 nanometer corresponding to violet. What happens when visible light is separated? Upon passing through the prism, visible light is separated into its component color such as red, orange, yellow, green, blue and white. The separation of visible light into its different colors is known as dispersion of white light. This part of the electromagnetic spectrum consists of the colors that we see in our rainbow. Each of these colors actually corresponding to a different wavelength of light. When all the wavelengths of visible light spectrum strike your eye at the same time, white is perceived. The sensation of the white is not a result of a single color. Rather, the sensation of the white is a result of a mixture of two or more colors of light. When you are in a room with no lights, everything around you appears black. Why is that so? That means there are no wavelengths of visible light striking your eye. That is why everything around you appears black. White is a combination of all the colors of visible light spectrum. All the wavelengths of visible light spectrum give appearance of white. Technically speaking, white is not a color. So technically speaking, black is the only absence of wavelengths of visible light spectrum. We see our world in a huge variety of colors. There are other colors that our eyes cannot see beyond red and violet. They are infrared and ultraviolet. In addition to ultraviolet and infrared, there are other colors that are hidden from sight. Low frequency radiation is invisible, starting somewhere around 400 terahertz. Most humans perceive a dull red. As the frequency is increased, the perceived color gradually changes from red to orange, orange to yellow, yellow to green, green to blue, and blue to violet. Human eye does not perceive violet so well. Somewhere between 700 terahertz and 800 terahertz, the world goes dark again. The human eye beyond the specific range of lights cannot see. Much like there are many sounds beyond specific frequency range, our human ears cannot hear. The color that our eyes can see is actually part of electromagnetic spectrum. The color is a property of light. The whole set of the color is called electromagnetic spectrum. How do animals see the world? We cannot imagine. We can study the animal's eye, but we may never able to know exactly what different animals see. Do all the animals see same wavelength of visible light as a human do? Different animals have different kinds of color from a broad range of spectrum because different species have different types of light sensing cells. Some see very little color while mantis shrimp has 16 colors receptive cones can detect 10 times more color than human eye. Mantis shrimp do not see colors like we do. Other animals like snakes are able to infrared light. Some insects, especially bees, can see ultraviolet colors that are invisible for humans. They can see an amazing spectrum of colors. Birds see from a broad range of wavelengths extending from ultraviolet to red. They see totally different world. However, if you take up pictures with camera only sensitive to ultraviolet light,